Hey, Prime Roasters, welcome to episode 8. I am so excited to be talking to you guys. We're finally having our post election show. Chris, I got to tell you something. I've been so depressed for the last 2 mornings since the election. I got home at close to 5 a.m. on election night because Donald Trump was on stage in West Palm Beach at 3. He was still speaking and my legs were giving out, but I couldn't care because we finally got him in. And not only him, we got the trifecta, right? We got the White House. I believe we're going to get the House of Congress. That's still a finger crossed. There's still a few seats to be counted. And we got the Senate. So I should be ecstatic right now, but instead I'm depressed. You know why? We've been running him for 4+ years now. Like every single day it was like so packed and jammed and like stressed and all this stuff that happens in politics. And now I've hit a wall and I don't know what to do with myself. Like I should take up knitting or something. Cause like, I'm like a ball of energy. I need some other thing to run. And it was just so sad to me. That was one thing. The other thing that I saw that, I'm reflecting on right now is that at the Trump watch party, I saw a lot of people there that I would classify as swamp monsters. And they were all, as soon as the guy wins, right? They weren't there for the last 4 years. As soon as the guy wins, they all came to the VIP party, like ready to rock and roll. And I'm like, I did not just spend the last 4 years busting my ass to make sure that this guy gets into office. And then you get to come back into power? Are you kidding me?
Not happening. No, I don't think so.
Well, they might be. I think they are actually because they were invited. And
They'll
I'm
try.
like, and so like it was like, so I'm at this party. There's like a million people there. I'm standing there with my plastic cup, with my with my Blanc de Blanc. I'm sorry, I'm a little fancy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Your hoity-toity blank to blank. Call it
Yes.
blank to blank. This is what I want to do with those snotty French waiters. Just call it blank to blank. I said, listen here, Francois,
No, but
or
I
garçon, or
literally,
whatever you want to call
I'm,
yourself.
yeah, I was just so upset because it was like I saw my ex-boyfriend with his new girlfriend, and I'm like standing there at a party. I can't have a good time, and I'm like, I should be so happy right now. We won. We really, really, really won, and I just was so depressed.
I know
So I'm
why.
happy to have the show to kind of get me through my blues.
I know why you might be a little depressed too, because it's bothering me a little bit as well. The Trump victory kind of makes it a little tougher for us in the future because the Biden administration and Harris running around the campaign trail has given us a lot of great material over the years on past shows. And of course, this one, it's a new show, but really, they just handed some great material to us. Now we have to dig a little bit more. Of course, we didn't have to do too much digging after Election Day now, did we?
No, we have so many goodies here for you guys today. I heard you had lined up some late night television for us to view and roast together. And do comment as you're watching this. We'd love to hear your comments and see what you think about, I guess, the new regime coming in and, of course, the left exploding as we take power again.
Well, let's have a little fun with some of these guys on the left. Uh, let's start with this guy, Jimmy Kimmel. I mean,
Oh, look at that face.
he was visibly upset. And look, you know these guys are upset and crying about this. They're like, oh, we try to push Kamala all these years, or all these weeks, I should say. We're trying to push the Biden administration, trying to keep Trump out of office, and now he's back. We're so sad. So here is Jimmy Kimmel holding back the tears.
Let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who.
Okay, here's another problem I have here. He always says, these liberals always say, oh, it's hard on the women. The Republicans don't want to protect women. They don't care about women. These guys are the altruistic types. They say, we want to protect women and women's rights. They don't want to protect women. These are the ones that want the criminal illegals in to rape and murder.
Break down our doors in apartment buildings.
Yep.
Yeah, that's him.
Rape, murder. These are the kind of people they support. So
Yep.
they are not. I repeat, they are not for women, not one iota. Okay, all right, they're for abortion rights. So fine, I get that. But that doesn't mean you're for women. Every other policy you have is totally against them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think as a woman?
As a woman,
People say
I mean,
that as
I
a
don't.
woman.
As a woman, I don't think you've done anything to protect me. In fact, Kamala Harris's closing message to me is to kill my babies. Oh yeah, that's great. It really resonated. Look, I am your target market for the Democrats. Not only am I Asian American, I am a wife and a mother, right? You want suburban women like me. And you know what? I just had a chat with a friend living in Fairfax, Virginia. Okay. Also suburban, also just like me. She saw rage voting amongst suburban women for Trump in her county. And I think when we do the autopsy for election 2024, you're going to see a lot of female votes going to Trump.
He did pretty well, at least from the preliminary readings, better than he did last time with women. And I should tell you something. Let's hear a little more from James.
To make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate,
Is he crying?
for science, for journalism.
Okay, that's another one. For
journalism?
Science and journalism. These people know nothing of science. They don't even know what a woman is. They can't understand basic biology. They know nothing of science. They only know the science.
His science.
And by the way,
his history.
Dr. Fauci himself debunked the whole 6-foot rule thing, and that's from a congressional hearing. We can get into that at another time.
Yeah.
Look at this. Again, they're not for journalism either. They're for propagandism. And journalism used to be you question authority. You don't parrot authority. Today, that's what we have. We parrot authority. The journalists parrot authority, or at least the ones that are allowed on the mainstream channels.
Yep, absolutely. And him crying, those like glittery tears, they're glittering because, all the studio lights are just blinding him. I mean, I don't know how hosts like Jimmy or any of the late night hosts who've bashed Trump for the last 4 years, I don't know how much longevity they have actually in this game. Because, on the flip side, the way Kamala Harris and Tim Walz was providing great content for our show, are they now going to pull Trump apart all this? Because I don't think it resonates now that they're seeing the numbers internally themselves to say, hey, hang on, more than half the country actually agrees with Trump. We can't just keep going on and on and on calling him orange man bad.
Oh,
right?
They will.
You think so? I don't know. I think they got to change their tune because we see it now. We saw Elon Musk, and obviously Elon Musk is on our side, but we saw him saying we are the media. We also saw Jeff Bezos with all his micro data on everyone in the world saying, oh, wait, hang on, we can't endorse Kamala Harris. It's not, the race is not going to go that way. So they know they have to change their tune and their newsrooms. I wonder if late night shows will do the same.
All right, try this. Do you watch the late night shows?
No, I'm in bed by 9.
And do you know why you're in bed by 9? Because you have to go to work the next day. You have to work the next day. You're a parent. You have to take care of things. These are people that are not the target audience of the late night shows. These are people who don't have to go to work the next day. See? There you go.
Mind blown.
I blow people's minds. That's what I do.
That's amazing. No, it's absolutely right. You're right. But I don't even go and seek these shows the morning after when I wake up at 3 a.m. I'm not even ooh, what did Jimmy Kimmel say today? No.
Well, yeah, you have serfs like me to do that for you. So, by the way, let's do that again with Stephen Colbert. Again, I don't call him Colbert because that sounds too dignified for him.
I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Well,
look at him. He's upset again. Head hanging down.
Well.
That is pretty funny.
Poor Colbert. But it was funny, yes.
It happened again. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election.
Oh, again, lawfare. We get that. I know these were trumped up charges. Again, I'm not intending a pun or anything like that, but these people were so hell bent and hoping to see Trump in jail by now. You think worst case for them, he goes to jail, becomes a martyr, and he gets 53% of the popular vote.
I know, right? Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Because we do know that in 2 weeks' time, he's got to go back into Manhattan local court, not federal, to face some sentencing in the Manhattan DA case. This is, I don't know how to answer any of this stuff anymore because it's we're in the constitutional not even like we're in constitutional hell. This has never been, never, ever, ever happened before. I know Jack Smith is now winding down his cases, which is great because he knows in federal court, Trump was just going to pardon himself. It doesn't matter, right? But in the Manhattan DA case, that's a big question mark still. And we saw Letitia James. I'm sorry to cue this up too early, but we saw Letitia James come out yesterday to give a press conference with New York Governor Kathy Hochul, preempting anything. Trump just had a huge win. They want to like pop his bubble, and they're saying, we're going to come after you. We're prepared to fight. What are you talking about? He didn't throw out any fighting words. He just won a presidential election. If that is fighting words for you, man, you got to get your head checked.
Oh, let's do Letitia in just a few moments, but a little more of Stephen Colbert, because again, he's always inadvertently funny.
It's almost like you rehearsed that.
Probably.
The deep shock and sense of loss is enormous. Okay, but let's look at the bright side. This way, at least there'll be a peaceful transfer of power.
Okay, remember this. There was not a peaceful transfer of power in 2016. There were 4 years of hissy fits, riots, the 529 insurrection, if you remember, the Chaz insurrection, the Chaz zone insurrection, if you will. And you also had several hoaxes pushed forth on Donald Trump. His associates were being interrogated, a whole Russiagate garbage, and the whole associating him with Vladimir Putin, even though they couldn't fix the election properly after they screwed Bernie Sanders in the primary. I don't agree with Bernie Sanders. I don't agree with Bernie Sanders, but they screwed him.
They totally screwed him. The same way they screwed RFK Jr., right? They screwed him as well. But Bernie Sanders, man, they never really paid him back for that one. They promised him all sorts of things, but they never really paid him back.
He's playing ball.
Is he still? I don't know.
Sanders is playing ball with those guys. Yeah, let's get a little more of the old Steve stir before we get to Tishy.
Pence, ollie ollie oxen free.
Oh, okay.
All day yesterday, I was walking around proudly wearing my I voted sticker. Today,
of course you were.
Today, I wore my I am questioning my fundamental belief in the goodness of humanity sticker. Yeah, they give those out.
This is the problem I have with the late night hosts of today. They're not trying to be funny. They're trying to be clever. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't resonate with the people like us because we're not their target audience. But the self-congratulatory smirky types, the ones who think snark is a substitution for intellectualism, are the ones that appreciate this kind of thing. I understand sometimes this can be funny, but this guy just tries harder to be clever than he does to be funny.
Yeah, I do that.
Well,
I do that.
Don't do that. You're here to be funny. There we go. Oh boy, now I'm killing everybody. I don't mean to roast Angie.
I'll roast myself all day long.
Now. Like, okay, next is going to be Chris has stupid hair. Okay, there we go. That's
Chris, you got hair today. Some days you tie it back, and I can't tell.
That's right. See this, so you can roast me for the stupid hair today. There we go.
No. Hair is good in politics. Hair is always good in politics, for sure. No, look. These guys haven't woken up yet, right? So you got to forgive them. Let's forgive these guys. They have been on the anti-Trump train for years. They've made millions, tens of millions doing so. They have advertisers who love this content. So let them keep roasting Trump, because when you roast someone like Trump, like a Gemini like Trump, that just fuels them. That just empowers him even more. He can't, you don't think that Trump couldn't wait to get into jail? Are you kidding me? You know what that would do for him and his brand if he actually had to rule the country from a jail cell?
I mean, jail. Set up the office here. It's gonna be the greatest office we ever had in jail. I got the COs, I got the Secret Service, and yes, I have all the cigarettes you need.
And do you know, that's a really good impression, but do you understand how many people would want to get arrested to be in that same jail cell or near him? Do you understand? like you're gonna see that kind of stuff.
Unless they're illegal, but that's a different story for a different day. You want to go to the wine fest here at the View? Again, This is probably the first time I actually went to watch The View when it was running live because I wanted to see what these broads had to say. And
Mm.
I got to tell you, they were in rare form, especially what's her name, Sunny again. Boy, Sunny hosting. She's been well. Let's put it this way. She's usually it's Joy Behar that says the stupidest things on the show each day, but this one she's been trying to outdo Ms. Joy.
Let's see it.
I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was "America makes a perilous choice." I think that
It's another one. A supposedly unbiased source, journalist, a bastion of journalism, the New York Times, does a biased headline saying that America made a perilous choice. What is Walter Duranty or his spirit still running things somewhere in there? Is he still alive? Is he encased somewhere in there? And or maybe he's immortal and still running things over there?
I don't know, but I think they're all wearing black. They're all mourning.
Oh boy. Well,
Sorry.
in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now.
poor Sonny.
And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And
Unfettered power. Do these people understand the Constitution? The president does not have unfettered power. The president is pretty weak in comparison to leaders of other countries.
Yeah, no, she's going to keep spilling the hate and the fear because that's her. I don't know why Democrats will always have to spill fear out. It can't ever be hopeful. It can never be joyous. It can only
Or
keep
sunny.
you right. They love to keep people in fear. Why? Do you think maybe that's currency, right? Maybe that translates to, something favorable for them in the midterms. I can't figure out why she, well, look, we never expected her to say anything positive about Trump anyway. So it's okay. She can keep going on and on about this. But ultimately, I think a studio exec's going to have to tap her on the shoulder and say, oh, the world's changed a little bit.
I don't think so. The View is going to be the same way. It's basically the chicken coop where they just keep clucking. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Keep going.
so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry
Okay.
about our elder.
But I want to stop this here. And this is another thing. These self-righteous people, they actually say, oh, I worry about other people. No, they vote selfishly. They vote because they want to pat themselves on the back and look good. They vote because they want to keep their jobs in liberal Hollywood or or the liberal journalist field. They don't give two noses about other people, the working class or anything else. And you know why? Because they constantly are condescending to the very same people every time they vote differently from them. And I'm sick and tired. One thing I'm sick and tired of hearing is the term uneducated. Okay, this is a loud roast and less of a comedy roast. But when these smug liberals say, "Oh, well, the uneducated whites and the uneducated blacks went for Trump," let me tell you something. These people think educated are people with a college degree. And yes, I understand that's true. But when you see let's break down the kinds of degrees that go for the left. I'm thinking professional activist. I'm thinking underwater basket weaving studies, something like that, or women's studies, ethnic studies, multicultural lingo, things like that, sustainable living. Those are the kind of non-degrees that these people consider educated. So I don't like the condescending tone they use against people, and they just come around and say, "Oh no, I'm not voting for me," which they are. I'm voting for other people.
Right. Yeah. And how many millions does Sunny take in from ABC for doing this show every single day? I mean, I'm just going to say, I don't think she's middle class. I think that she wants to believe that she's a middle class woman because that's for some reason very popular in her circles. No, she's not selling it. She knows that if she doesn't keep up this kind of rant hate, that she loses her job. And you know what? Keep going that way because fashion has changed, Sonny. We're no longer wearing the brown suits. Fashion has moved on. It's a new world come January 20th. You better get used to it.
Well, I think other people should get used to this thing too. And I'm tired of watching journalists get so visibly upset because they didn't like the way that things turned out. You can get upset behind the scenes. Don't do this ahead of the scenes. What do you think you're cool or some kind of hip just because you are upset that the liberal didn't win? That might be fine within the cocktail parties in the newsroom, but let's watch Claire McCaskill who whines about this on what I forgot where this is from. Anyway, so let's hear her whine and cry through this.
Okay. I think I'm okay. Tell me.
We'll start that here.
Okay. I think I'm okay. Tell me what you're thinking. Well, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of her.
She can't hold it in. I'm so proud of Kamala Harris. She's such a great lady. She was a lousy candidate. Just say it.
I mean, worst than Joe Biden. How can you be worse than Joe Biden when you're running a campaign? That's like really hard to do.
Oh, she was worse than Hillary Clinton for that matter.
She looks like Hillary Clinton.
Well, not Harris. Harris doesn't look anything like Hillary Clinton. Oh yeah, that's right. McCaskill does. Yeah, well, they got the same haircut. I mean, she was a lousy candidate. Get over it. Stop crying. But just be honest. Say, I'm disappointed in the results. Straight face. Only because it would have been nice to see. Look, they want to see their first woman president. I get it, but it's nothing to cry about. In fact, I like the idea that women are losing elections, and here's the reason why. After Hillary Clinton lost, we had a whole chorus of, what are we going to tell our daughters? Oh, our daughters are going to be told nobody's going to care about them. Nobody's going to want them to be in elected office. Nobody's going to vote for them. That's BS. Look at all the female senators and congresswomen we have. No, it tells your daughters that you're not entitled to the position. If you're not entitled to win if you just run. You don't have to just show up and be picked because you're a woman. You have sound policy. Run on your merit, run a good campaign, but you have the right to go up there and not only win, you have the right to go up there and lose a good game and come back to fight another day. That should be what women who are these so-called feminists should be telling their daughters.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Kamala Harris was possibly the worst candidate. Even like small seats that I would run for city council, we have better candidates than that. I just didn't understand any of her game. All that you can't just pack an entire campaign with celebrities and be like, look, I'm going to all these fancy parties that you're not invited in, but you got to vote for me. Like that was her campaign. I'm hanging out with A-listers and you can't be here with me and I'm a middle-class woman. What? That, like, where in the world does that resonate with Americans in any way or fashion? It was so off-tuned. And you know what? To this day, she's never going to admit to it. She'll never say anything about it. She just wants to be fabulous and wear her brown suits and hang out with people that she, frankly, I mean, on other shows have been saying this, that they have, blackmail material on. That's why,
it's possible. Yeah, I'm there with that. Here, but maybe it's not Kamala Harris's fault. According to Jen Psaki, it was Elon Musk's fault. Look at that. And look at the dark screen there. Here we go. It was Elon Musk's fault, according to Jen Psaki.
I think this is a big, huge part of the story that it's hard to even digest fully at this moment. But you have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, X, who is a disinformation propagandist and now has a
Hi, Pot. My name is Kettle. Jen Psaki, who spent her career as a disinformation activist, or if you will, a disinformation disseminator for both the Clinton, for both part of the Clinton regime. The Obama regime. Sorry, she was with the Clinton. I believe she was with the Clinton Secretary of Stateship, the Clinton State Department, if you will, and she was with the Obama administration. Then she was with the Biden administration. She was disseminating disinformation before she could make up stories about other people on MSNBC.
Yeah. Well, look, she's got to say it because she's protecting her own job, which is to play tennis with these guys that supposedly are spreading disinformation. So, I don't know if she's going to be able to compete, quite honestly. I think her job and her role should also evolve. But again, these guys have built their careers, right, on bashing the right. And they don't know what to do with themselves because at some point, you got to do a little bit of a reflection and say, maybe what we were doing didn't work because guess what? We just had the GOP just had a trifecta win. So whatever it is we're doing, we're losing. And if you can't do that soul search, you're going to lose again in the midterms.
Again.
So
The meltdowns still provide material. We love these meltdowns. I say keep them going.
This is my favorite.
I say keep melting down, keep crying, keep whining, and keep saying you're gonna wreak vengeance on all of us, because you know what? We eat all that stuff up. We think it's hilarious. And what wasn't more hilarious than the perpetually angry Letitia James going, we're going to come back. Basically what she's saying, we're going to get you people. We're going to protect you people from Donald Trump because Donald Trump's a meanie.
Roll back our rights. So here we are. We've studied their platforms. We've identified.
Who's this we, by the way? Is it you and what army? A bunch. I love this.
We studied their platforms.
That's right. We're going to come. We're going to get them. We're going to get we studied you. We know what you're all about.
Certain possibilities, fact patterns. We've created contingency plans.
Okay. Created contingency plans. So she was getting ready to look again. She's prosecuting Donald Trump right now.
Yes, she is. And guess what? Contingency plans. What is this press conference based on exactly? Because Donald Trump, all he did was just win the presidency. So I don't understand what triggered her and why she has contingency plans. Why aren't these the same exact plans for when you were prosecuting him? Why are they different now?
So no matter what the next administration throws at us, we're ready.
The streets will flow with the blood of the non-believers.
People, I mean, these words coming out of her mouth. How is she a politician? How is she an elected official? How does she have any powers whatsoever? The guy won. He won. This is not for you to play around with it ever again. But yet she's going to toss her little bit of power that she's been given, just a tiny bit. She is going to try to throw her weight. It's disgusting. It's not what the country needs. You want to talk about division? This is it. She embodies division.
Oh, this is also her next campaign for governor. Ironically, she does this press conference with Governor Hochul, but she is after that job. She's been after that job for a little while. She thinks she's going to get it.
We're ready to respond to their attacks. We're ready to respond to any attempts to cut or eliminate any funding to the great state of New York, as the governor outlined.
She's basically talking about taking political vengeance, but she's saying that the other guys are the ones that are going to do that without evidence. She's saying without evidence.
Exactly.
Those words should be put in everywhere. Without evidence, she's saying that the mean old orange man is going to take money away from New York. So we're going to retaliate. We're going to organize the people.
What are you going to do,
we
Letitia?
Know their plan.
She knows that she's on her way out. I don't think she doesn't have a shot at the governor's seat. Not with the numbers that we've been seeing.
Have you been in New York? Unless Hochul runs again, she'll try to run again. And no matter how strong the Republican candidate is, idiots will vote for her. Well, maybe maybe they aren't that stupid. Maybe listening to her will keep her out of the primary, or at least keep her from going through the primary again.
So despite what has happened on the national stage, we will continue to stand tall in the face of injustice, revenge.
Okay, wait a minute. Man. In the face of injustice, revenge, and retribution, you, my lady, are taking part in injustice. Fake charges against Donald Trump. This chasing away businesses because these were never brought up against anybody else. This is all political. And of course, retribution. Your middle name, lady, is Retribution. You ran on retribution against Donald Trump. Did you hear her with her campaign? We're gonna get Donald Trump. We're gonna get him. Hey, if you vote for me, we're gonna get him. That was her whole campaign. Retribution. She stands for retribution. She is the face of retribution.
That is that face. Look at her face, man. Her face is like, ooh, no one's winning campaigns on that face. I don't care how much Botox she's pumped in there.
Oh, the mean girl is coming out of you, Angie.
I am so nasty and disgusting. I hate bashing women because I'm sure, women bash me all the time. But that's like, I turn into a teenager. I don't know why. I'm that immature.
Yeah, aren't you broads supposed to stick together?
Some of us do. I mean, I'm not mean to everybody, but I think to liberals, I just have a certain, there's a certain place in me, a really dark place that I just love attacking liberal women. And I'm nasty. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's just the Queen's girl that comes out sometimes.
Hold
It's
on a
not,
second.
and yeah,
I gotta
look,
write this down. I gotta write this down. Do not cross Angie. Okay, that's on my list right now.
No, I don't. I can take the opposition views. I can take all of that. It's when you abuse your power that I got to knock you down. I can't help it. It's just something in me. You have triggered me to say, look, you can't say these words. They're fighting words, and also they're inciting violence. And I think that's where I draw the line. I've had to listen to the nonsense from the left for years now. They're even teaching my children this nonsense. And I've sat back and I've kept quiet. And now I'm just raging because you are now affecting my life, my household, my savings because of your nonsense. That I gotta just be like, all right, let's go outside, me and you. I can't help it. I have to do it because it's fine. I love political speech. I love free speech. You say whatever you want. But when it affects me personally, I got to step it up. I hope everyone does step it up. I hope all patriots now have been given this win to now speak up and get out of your houses, get out of I've been hiding under a blanket, I don't know for how many years before I busted open. And I'm like, all right, get me on every show, get me talking, because I now know that I'm not the only one, because more than half of Americans voted and made their voices heard this week, and that is to reelect Donald Trump. So that's the end of that story. Okay, we voted.
Angie Wong says, get in touch with your inner Letitia James and your inner Sunny Hostin, and of course, your inner Joy Reid.
Man, you know what? If she runs, I hope she does. Man, she's gonna see what happened to New York City. We just got the numbers report from the New York Post this morning. Double digits in almost every single borough of New York City went for Trump. Okay, that means there was what we saw here in Miami in a microcosm worked in New York City as well. New York City did not flip red like Miami did, but it jumped up. In I think it was in Queens and in other boroughs, 20-something% went towards Trump since 2020. So if she's not seeing those numbers and she doesn't change her tune, she thinks her little micro market of I hate Trump is still in New York. No, it's gone.
Oh boy.
Those are her voters.
I'm glad you're on the mean mode today, because let's get the inner meanness out of Angie today, thanks to the liberal meltdowns. Let's go to the rank and file liberal meltdowns on TikTok and Twitter. And I love these libs of TikTok pages and places that kind of expose these. So I want you to hear and watch some of this stuff that's going on here, and what the Kamala voters are saying or trying to say here.
The crazy thing to me is that if this guy does end up winning again, all of the people who voted for him will be happy, and they'll just be celebrating. And everyone else, everyone who feels threatened by him is fucking scared.
We are so scared. Poor. I know they didn't come after me when Donald Trump was president before, but they're really going to come after me this time. I know it.
Yeah, I love it. That was a pretty good impression of a liberal. I love watching these, and I know they are really scared and really triggered, but maybe they should do some self-reflection on why they're so scared.
Here's a neat little collection of liberal meltdowns.
Let's play this one.
These are good.
All right, guys, it's time to go to bed. None of us are stressed about the election, right? We all are gonna just go have the best night's sleep of our lives, aren't we?
I'm done.
He's done. He's done.
I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
Is this guy a parody? I'm not sure if this is even real.
Yeah, he's like a young Martin Short.
You can't tell sometimes if this is if these things are parodies or real anymore. Think about this. You're watching these people melt down and cry and do this in public. First off, call your friends, say you're upset. I'm okay with all of you people who disagree with me and say, I don't like the idea that Donald Trump won, or I'm very upset that my person didn't win. But call your mom, call your friend, or just write it down somewhere in your journal. Don't document yourself doing this, because when you look for a job or 10, 15, 20 years down the road, you're going to look at yourself and find out how embarrassing this was.
Oh, let them. Let Gen Alpha. Oh my, what's this one? She's curled up in fetal position.
Just crying.
It's not going to happen. Go, Kamala.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Drink some more.
She's getting drunk.
Guys, we literally don't even have to panic. We literally don't have to freak out right now. We don't even have to fucking, like, we don't have to freak out. We don't have to freak out because it's not even real. Because, bitch, recount the vote!
Guys, I just voted.
Oh, this guy.
And I chose family.
End this reign of terror now.
I chose family. I chose women. I chose America.
If you did, then you probably should have been happy, right?
Where are we in society that we're doing this right now? Seriously, where are we? I feel like we live in parallel universes here. This guy went into his car, put a sticker on his forehead, and starts crying. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he identifies himself as, but I'm just going to give that one an it. Here is one of my favorites. This basically sums up the self-documented just the angry Kamala voter at this point.
I'm sorry. No. Why?
And she's getting on the road? She's going to be driving like this? I don't want to be driving next to her.
I don't think you want to be driving next to her normally. This is like mental illness on display proudly.
Yeah, that's a road hazard. I'm going to take public transport for a second. This is too much, man. I don't know. Control your emotions. You are clearly grown people. Grow up.
Here's another one. This one again. This is overly dramatic.
I was just walking down the street to go get my medication because I'm
no surprise there, by the way.
out and I need it for today.
Again, no surprise.
And I saw a woman walking her 2 kids, and she had this look on her face. And I looked at her, we made eye contact, and we both kind of nodded.
She was looking at you like, why in the hell do young girls think that looking like a bull makes you hot to men? That's what she was looking at you thinking.
Yeah. We've had those talks before. They intentionally uglify themselves, right? I don't get it.
Oh, we got to hear more.
Maybe they really don't care about reproductive rights.
Oh, that's another thing. We'll get to that soon, too.
Like we were both just devastated. And you could just tell in her eyes.
Again, they're all assuming that everybody else agrees with them, so they're going to put this rage out. There's this whiny and crybaby garbage out there, basically just to get attention.
Yeah,
I get it. I was the class clown in school. I was an attention seeker, so I know of these people.
Well, you know what I did the morning after Trump won? I high-fived my doorman. We got eye contact and we're like, hey, great job. So guess what? Not everyone thinks like this. Not everyone is going to be like, crying on the inside and out. There are lots of people throwing hugs and high fives and big waves right now. They don't understand, but it's okay. Let them react because that's what liberals do. They're completely emotional, runned inside and out. So let it out, and then heal. And then, maybe grow up a little bit.
One more thing, Angie, and this is what's going on with these attention-seeking women or young girls who are trying to make a movement or they're really upset and crying and whining about the patriarchy and the Kamala Harris loss. There's this thing called the 4B movement, and maybe I'm out of it. Maybe it was around for a long time, but apparently these women just don't want to have sex with men for a long time, or whenever, or for whenever. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but the thing is, think about this that way. I'm watching these women who claim they're going to be part of this movement are saying, we're not going to have sex with you men because you men voted for Donald Trump. I'm thinking, as the young people would say, your terms are acceptable.
Okay.
After what we've seen, I'm sure these young people are fine with it. They can look elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, we're watching people do a Britney on air all the time. They're losing their minds. They're cutting their hair. They're screaming. This is like, all right, usually it's behind the scenes, but because of social media, we get a nice glimpse into their crazy minds. Look, be emotional, get over it. I'll give you a week. All right. Sort yourself out, take some medication, find a friend, hug somebody, hug a tree. I don't mind. Get it out of your system. Donald Trump is going to be our next president for the next 4 years and then some.
Well, either way, let's just say accept the loss, go home, regroup, and do what we normally do when we lose. That's what happened 4 years ago, honestly. And yes, you are allowed to go and protest and question things if you don't like what authority hands to you. I understand that, and you should be able to do that. We're just asking not to burn buildings down and everything else like that. However, we want you to scream and yell in the camera. We want you to say stupid things. We want Letitia James to talk about vengeance and how the demons of hellfire are coming down on anybody who disagrees with her. And you know why? Because that keeps us going here on Prime Roast. Thank you all for joining us.